Welcome to the Soca Mom Summit. We are about to talk about how to live our best lives with less.
Yes.
I know it seems like it's hard. Everybody's saying, get more money, get more things, get more stuff, get a bigger house to put more stuff in. So we're going to talk about how to manage all of that, how to live our best lives with less. And to talk about that with me is Miss Hyacinth Powell. Tell us about yourself, where you are from, and what you do.
Hi, everybody. My name is Hyacinth. I am originally from Georgia, east of Atlanta. It's a small little suburb called Decatur, Georgia, for those of you that may be from the South. And I'm a writer, author, self-published author, parent, mom, but I'm also a educator by day. So with that, I guess with my background in writing and also being an educator, I've learned a lot. I've learned about how to basically, even with teaching, you have to learn how to hit those marks in a certain amount of time. Everything is based on time and actually crunching things. And I had to learn that also with my life. So it kind of turned me into a minimalist in a lot of ways. My life experiences. Also a speaker, and a coach, mentor. I do a lot of community work, especially with women and people of color. And I'm very passionate about, supporting women and helping them to, move through those challenging spaces. And that was what Hyacinth Holistic Health was created for, to provide alternative measures of healing through speaking and writing. And that's what I'm passionate about. And that's what I've pretty much devoted myself to doing. And my journey, it's a journey.
Listen, it's a journey for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
And so hopefully you can help us on this journey to just live better.
Absolutely.
We have so much going on right now. And at the end of the day, that's all we want to do. We just want to live better.
Yes.
Right? So tell me what minimalism means for all of us. What does that mean? A lot of us read Marie Kondo's book. Some people didn't read it and got mad anyway. So what does minimalism really, really mean?
I think what a lot of people, the reason why when they hear the word minimalist, they automatically freak out because they're like, I'm not giving up my stuff. Okay. So a lot of people want to hold on to things, but really what minimalizing is, it's prioritizing. So it's not so much about eliminating the things that you care about or you like, but it's actually asking yourself, how much do I really need this, and how much of an asset is this to my life? I mean, so many of us paid money for storage and just to hold things that we don't even see for years. So you have to ask yourself, like, am I really using those things? So really being a minimalist is actually bringing awareness to how you're utilizing your space and making sure that the space that you have, you're using it to maximize yourself as an individual. It's a whole, it affects your mental, it affects every aspect of who you are. So it's you gain so much more. You minimize the space and the things that you put in that space, but you're maximizing in other ways. So I think that's definitely what I would say as a minimalist, how I see it.
Thinking about the stuff, right? And that's, like you said, people got upset at just the thought of getting rid of the stuff. What is it that you believe makes us want to hold on to just tangible things? Is it memories? Is it the feelings from the time that we got that particular thing? What is it that's making us hold on so tightly?
I truly believe, especially for us culturally as African Americans, I think that for us, things almost, I think, give us some type of value, and it makes us feel like we're validated because we have them. So relinquishing them is almost like relinquishing a part of who we are, is how we feel. Because as a culture, as a people, we've lacked, you know, things have been taken from us, put it like that. We didn't start off that way, but things were taken from us. So I think that the things that we do have, we want to hold them. We want to keep them for ourselves. We don't want anybody to take it from us. What we have to learn and return to is that the things that are the most valuable are not things that are tangible. They're not things, and the things that make us who we are not so much about materializing or material things, but it's something that's internal. So I think that the more in tune we are with self and we are able to relinquish attachments, it liberates you to do other things and have other experiences.
Letting go of the attachment. Mm-hmm. Now, what can we do to help us with that process? Because a lot of us, you know, it's that if I had ID, I wouldn't need ID situation, mm-hmm. right? I mm-hmm. would let it go if I knew how to let it go, but I can't, you know, I can't mm-hmm. do one without the other. So right. What are some of the tools that people can use to start to let go, even if it's of an experience? Like, do we want mm-hmm. to let go of that happy time? Are we letting mm-hmm. go of the memory or the thing? Is mm-hmm. it learning to separate? How do we begin?
Well, I'll say for me, in my situation, in my case, it was very much forced. I moved to the West Coast after a traumatic experience. I was raped, essentially. And when I moved, it was like, okay, I'm moving and I'm doing something for my mental. So for me at that time, it was about what was the priority. And it still is the same in other situations. For me, it was just a lot more. It was kind of a rushed kind of thing. It wasn't something I had to really think about. It was like either it's my mental health or it's staying at a place that, you know, I have people and things that I'm used to, but I'm not comfortable anymore. So I think ultimately you have to prioritize what do you really need? Like, what are your needs? Get back to the basics. What are the things that you absolutely need? And for some of us that's different. For some of us, we do need to have, you know, art supplies because that is mental health. So I don't, you know, encourage people to get rid of the things that make them feel good about themselves, because ultimately the purpose of organizing and minimalizing your life is to actually, you know, open your mind to other opportunities and experiences. You don't want to do it to cause yourself depression. So you don't take away things that ultimately make you happy. But one of the first things I would say is to write a list. Write a list of the things that you feel that you absolutely need. I would say at least your top 5 things that you have to have and that you cannot do without. Then I would also have you to start going around your house and start room by room, because it can be overwhelming if you try to look at your whole house at one time and say, how do I get rid of this stuff? Start in one room and look at the things that you've had for a long time and that you've had away and you haven't seen for a while. And if you haven't needed it for that time, you can tell yourself, you know, I really don't need this. Maybe I can give it to someone else that might need it. And actually, I noticed the more that I gave of my things, because I gave away everything. I sold my car. I came here and started from nothing. And I realized that the more that I gave away, the more that was given to me. So it actually also creates room for new things. If we are able to relinquish some of the things that we've grown attached to. I think it's a little bit different when you're talking about, you know, things as far as like family heirlooms and things like that. That's a little bit different. And I think that those things can still be kept. It's just about how can, like, even using multi-purpose. Maybe you have a vase or something that you had from a relative that you like. Then you can use it as an accent piece in your home. But just using your space multi-purpose, and also just minimizing the things that you really truly see that you don't need, that you have in excess, that you notice that you just do it for, you purchase things maybe for off of emotional and whatever it could be, but you have to be aware of those things within yourself. Ultimately, you have to be aware of why you're attached, if that makes any sense. You have to kind of dig a little deeper to understand why are you attached to that thing.
When we move and there are boxes that we don't open.
Right.
Okay. So we all know it happens.
Right.
I remember moving and merging households when I got married, and I was already a parent. So, you know, you have the things that you're absolutely going to use. The kids' clothes, kids' toys, kids' room decorations, kids' furniture. That's a given. And then there's all these things that I never opened.
Yep.
In 10 years, they stayed in the box. Then we get to 15 years, they stayed in the box until it was time to move again. And then I felt something. I felt burdened. I felt burdened when I finally opened the box. And I'm like, you know what? This isn't going. The burden's not going. It's not about the stuff. I took pictures of the stuff because that I can take. But I didn't want to feel that burden. So I'm glad that you talked about the feelings that come with each thing. That vase from the favorite aunt, the feelings. It's important to acknowledge those. We're not trying to take away your feelings or your emotions.
Right. Not at all.
The stuff in that closet.
At all. Yes. Because the thing is, those attachments are deeper than things anyway. That we're not so much. We think it's the things, but if you dig a little bit deeper, you realize it's the person, it's the relationship. It's deeper than what we're holding on to. So those things don't really change that relationship. But I think that sometimes we attach that because we feel, so passionately about those people. So
what can we expect once we start to let go of things? What kinds? How do you know that you're doing it right? What is the feeling that you have? We know what it feels like when you're doing it wrong. You feel cluttered. You feel overwhelmed. Yes. What can we expect to feel when we are moving in the right direction?
Definitely mental clarity. I would definitely say for me, that was when I was able to establish, I even was able to establish my regimen of meditating. Because for me, I realized that as long as my space is clear and not cluttered, and I recently, even in the last year, downsized from my space that I was previously, because I felt like I needed to do that to get almost like a anchor to basically refocus and what do I really want? Because sometimes I feel as though it takes us so far off of our track where we're supposed to be. So I think that initially just be prepared to feel just a new sense of yourself. It opens so many doors and opportunities. Like I know it's hard like to relinquish it, but it's almost like once you do, you feel like a weight lifted, because it's like, you probably should deal with these things, and it haunts you deep down. You're like, I've had this for so long. I don't even do anything with this, but I just feel like I need to have it. And when you relinquish that, you feel like another person. You truly feel light and free. And it allows you to be more creative. If you're a creative person, I'm a writer. So for me, that's a must. I have to have a clear space. I like to have plants in my space. So those are things that help to, accentuate those thoughts and create in that flow. Definitely expect yourself to be given new things, because for whatever reason, when we give to the universe, there's something, it's given back to you. It's a cycle. It's universal law. So it might not come back as in the form of a thing or even the thing that you released, but it could be an opportunity that maybe you wanted and you had yourself bogged down with, just the stress of trying to maintain things or a home or, expensive cars or whatever it is that you attach yourself to. When you let go of those things, you're able to live life a little bit more freely. And it creates lots of opportunities for sure.
I have a friend, she's probably watching this. She was moving, right? And I was watching her pack up the books and put them in the giveaway pile. And I'm going, do we give away books? Is that a thing? Right? I didn't understand. And they were beautiful books. And she's like, I read them already. I'm like, but you should just have them. She's like, no, I've read them and somebody else needs to read what's in these books. And as long as I hold on to them, they won't be able to have that information.
Wow.
And that just kind of hit me like, oh, word?
Absolutely.
Like, because we're taught that education is so very important, but we hold on to it. We keep it. It's not about sharing that. And she is the most giving person. I'll say hello. Hello, Ray. She's at Vermilion Pearl.
Hi, Ray.
On Instagram and Twitter. But she taught me that you can let go and give people things. And I said, well, what if you need to read it again? She said, I can find it. It's not worth the $12.99. Just let somebody else have it. And you can find it again. If you feel like you need it, get the ebook, do what you got to do, but just having a collection of books, unless
Absolutely.
that's the thing that is moving you, the collection, that's something else, right? Just having favorite authors in your space, that's different from just holding on to the books because you feel like you can't get rid of them.
Thank you.
So
absolutely.
She kept all the special, meaningful books, but the other ones, she just let go. Like you said, you put it out there and you make room for more things on your bookshelf.
You do. Absolutely.
So what are some of the benefits that you personally have experienced? Because you had a traumatic event, you had to get rid of things, you had to move. What are some of the benefits emotionally and, materially? Because that is a thing. We do need stuff, some stuff. Right. What are some of the benefits that you have personally felt?
I definitely think now, because I've been that way. For one, I've made it a habit where I'll pretty much purge twice a year. And I've even taught my kids that. So I'll have them like, hey, you guys don't need these toys. And I explain, like, you're giving it to a kid that doesn't even have toys, or a kid that doesn't have clothes. So I've changed my habits as far as how I live. It also allowed for me to, I guess, discover other parts of myself. So because I detached from things outside of myself, I learned to go inside. And so I was able to find who I truly am, I guess. And it was like I was able to even create a space to heal for myself. So mental health, it actually benefited me in a number of ways. And it inspired me to start my business, Hyacinth Holistic Health, and to want to help other women to understand that, you can relinquish the things that feel that they're burdened or they're attached to. Even our pain, sometimes we get attached to that. And I'm here and I'm a testament, to say that anything that you've experienced, anything that you maybe think you're attached to, you can always remove that attachment, and you can always, grow from that place. And so it gave me a new vision on life ultimately. And it opened me, to write a book and to start a business and to network and to meet new people. Have new experiences, and it taught me to focus more on the experiences and the connections than the things, because that's what we really remember when it's all said and done. I think when I'm a 90-year-old woman, I'm going to think about the people that I've encountered and the experiences I've had, and not so much that that box of stuff I never touched for 5 years.
Absolutely. I know that when I made this last move and I gave away so many things, and we came into this apartment, unpacked everything, and it still was empty. And that gave me, it's like I had ideas all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like, while I was avoiding things before, I wanted to approach things after that. Even people, it's all parts of your life and your relationship. I felt open to a lot more things. I'm an extreme introvert. I know you can't tell.
No, same.
I am.
Same here. I totally relate. Totally.
And it's very hard for me to open up to other people. But when this place was empty, I was like, ooh, I should go outside and meet some people. Not just sit with all my stuff.
I'm serious. You're right, though. That's exactly how it feels. Absolutely.
So when we're going forward and we are thinking about getting more stuff, because we still see artwork that we love, we still see little things that we might want to have near us, what is the thought process we should go through in choosing those things?
Okay. I like that. I think that the main thing is this going to give me a lasting experience? Is this thing going to matter to me in the next week, in the next month? Because I think that we get things and we're so excited about them, but it's like, am I going to appreciate this in the next month, next week, next year? Also, why am I getting it for myself, or am I getting it because I want to impress other people? Because I think a lot of times, a lot of us are doing it not because of us. We're not getting all these things because it really matters to us. In fact, we don't even realize that we're buying things for other people to impress other people. So ask yourself, like, is this something I really need? Or am I doing this to try to keep up with, whoever I'm in competition with, or, whoever I'm trying to put on a facade for? So you have to really look at that and see, like, do I really need this? Or would I prefer to have an experience or go travel somewhere instead of spending my money on a thing and getting nothing out of it, but to sit in the house with it, thing or experience.
And when you're sitting there thinking, "Ooh, did they see it? Did they see my post with my outfit and my earrings? Did they see it?" So I definitely get that, because sometimes in the back of your mind, it's like, I wonder if this looks good on me or if they just going to be impressed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And one of the things I thought about, for example, when I got this particular pair of earrings, right? Mm-hmm. I remember thinking of them as artwork. And, people notice them because they're gorgeous, but I like looking at them myself. I like looking at them. And the artist that made them, I met her before I purchased them. So having them reminds me of her, right? And wearing them, people will ask me, "Oh my gosh, where did you get them?" And I get to talk about her and what an amazing artist she is. Like, it's not just having the thing and it's people see it. It's the whole experience. I'm so glad you said that.
Yes.
Now, speaking of experiences, we're going to talk about the cultural experience real quick, because this conversation flew by, but I cannot leave without this. The curio cabinet. African-American people, we have it. Caribbean people, we have it. And it means a lot to us. It is the most expensive thing in the house most of the time. It is a symbol of making it, to have a cabinet full of dishes that no one can eat off of. And sometimes we put, the diploma, you put the kids' awards, you put all of these untouchable items in there. When we think about keeping things culturally, how do we deal with that curio cabinet? How do we deal with all of the things we're keeping in there? Because it's not just a physical thing. A lot of us have an emotional curio cabinet of all of the untouchable things. And that's just manifesting itself in an actual physical cabinet. Okay. So you deal with minimalism with things as well as emotional health and all of the other things. Can you talk to us about how we can put those things together? How we can deal with the emotional curio cabinet and the actual physical curio cabinet?
Absolutely. So, and when you said that, I had a really good visual of my grandmother's, because she had, like, I guess hers was like a blue and white china set. So I remember it very clearly, in some like polished silver and everything. So it's funny, as you said it, I'm thinking of it in my own mind. And I remember when she passed, my mom and my aunt, because it's just two girls in the family, they pretty much, split up that stuff. And recently my mom pulls the stuff out and she has all this stuff. And I was teasing her. I'm like, "Mom, you used to tease, Mom Annette," that's what we called her, about having all this stuff, but you're starting to get like her. I'm like, you're starting to get a lot of this like knickknack stuff, and you gotta release some of this stuff. But I think that when it's dealing with a relative, and I can speak for my grandmother because I was very close to her, I guess I've found a place for her within myself. So ultimately, you have to make peace with that relationship. And if you have guilt, it's a little bit harder, because you have to forgive yourself first before you can actually go through those other emotions. But if you had a relationship with someone that's passed on and you're holding on to their things, or even, someone that you just really love and you're close to, and you're holding on to their things, you have to understand that even their body has dissolved and it's no longer in the material world. So the basis of who we are is not a material thing. It's not material. So you have to really, 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 really dig deeper and actually go within and actually find other ways to connect with those people beyond, storing a bunch of stuff that you can't touch. As far as the physical aspect, I think that you really you have to figure out what things that you can keep, what things you can give away. If you have a family where you have, like I said, my mom and my aunt, they split things up. Even that, I mean, you're still keeping it within the family, but you're not keeping it all in your space. If you're able to do that and able to distribute it and give things to other family members that would appreciate it, that's also another way. But I do think it's important that we do maintain some of our heritage and our cultural items and the things that are valuable to us, that were passed along. I think that's good for us as a culture for sure, because a lot of us, most of us, that was stripped away from us. We don't know those things. So I think it's important, but I think it's the amount. We have to not be excessive. And I think that's the ultimate thing. It's not that you can't have things. It's balancing between excess and really, what do I need? I'm getting more than what I'm way up here. We have to find a way to come back to the middle. And in that, I think that's where the middle, like the material and the mental kind of meet, is in that balance, that middle spot, that sweet spot in the middle.
So this has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for that. I also had, that mental picture of the curio cabinet.
Yes.
And it's funny, my mom had one. My grandmother, when I went to visit her with the kids, she was showing me all of the stuff in her curio cabinet, things from her kids, grandkids. And it's very hard to let go of those things and those family heirlooms and cultural items. So Absolutely. Thank you for giving us the insight on that. So before we go, please tell us how we can support you, what you're doing, places you're speaking and sharing. And also, please don't forget to tell us about your book.
Oh, absolutely. So I'll start with that. So my book is Peace and Chaos. This is the actual book. You can order it on amazon.com. Peace and Chaos, Journey to Self. And that's basically me unpacking my greatest life challenges, basically. And I'm putting it all out. And I basically figured out a way to pivot from pain to purpose. And that's what the book is about. So hopefully you can get some inspiration from there. I also do weekly live posts on both my pages on social media. Hyacinth Like the Flower on Wednesdays. I do those lives every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific and Mountain Time. It's the same right now for us in Arizona, technically Mountain Standard Time, and 8 o'clock on Eastern Standard Time. Hyacinth Holistic Health, I'm there and I discuss all type of holistic. I've had friends come on and do actually live recipes to help and support mental wellness. But I'm dealing with the whole person. So holistic health is literally dealing with the entire person, your diet, your mental health, physical, everything, all aspects. And I do weekly lives there as well, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also stay and follow there because I will be launching my website for Hyacinth Holistic Health very soon. And I'll be doing some courses on living as a minimalist. I'll teach you that, as well as journaling through grief and things of that sort. So basically a course to help you pretty much use journaling as a form of healing. And I personally benefited from it. So I'm pouring myself into it. So definitely follow me. Be engaged. You can always DM me questions, and I'm always here to support women of color, especially. That's where I'm passionate, to see us truly, truly, truly grow and expand and to come together as a community. I'm here for community for sure. So thank you for having me. I truly appreciate Soca Mom for having me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity for sure.
Thank you so much. This has been a phenomenal session. I know I am going to look around here and see what else makes me feel, yes. I'm going to look at the things I love, the books that I haven't touched yet.
Yes.
The books that I haven't, been moved by anymore since I got them. Somebody else might be moved by it. Let me get that moving. Absolutely. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. Everyone, please go to SocaMomSummit.com. You can read more about Hyacinth and what she does. You can see her podcast. If you click on her profile, there is a link to her podcast, and you can get to know more about her and connect with her. So Thank you very much. Please enjoy the rest of the summit. Thank you, Hyacinth. And we'll see everybody very soon. Bye.
See you guys.